my study is the limitations of the belly press test in the obese population. So something to think about while you're doing the belly press test in a patient with apple habitus is that when you do the test on a normal patient, their humerus is not flexed forward or elevated, and they have a good amount of internal rotation. But if you can imagine an apple panics patient doing this test, they're going to have to increase the humeral flexion and lessen their amount of internal rotation in the shoulder to achieve the starting position. And there's not a lot of evidence for a test in this position. With the shoulders altered biomechanics, this could alter the activity of the rotator cuff muscles that this test is testing. The subscapularis in particular could possibly be altered in activity. So my patient was a 46-year-old, 500-pound male. He was brought to the hospital more or less for breathing problems. He took a walk outside, couldn't fit back through the door of his house to re-enter, panicked, couldn't breathe, passed out. He was brought to the hospital. He was treated with a BiPAP, which is non-invasive ventilation. Worked fairly decent. He also started to complain about left shoulder pain. He rated it a 10 out of 10. What's in green is more pertinent to his shoulder ailment, which his presentation will concentrate on. So for 23 years he was a residential painter, which involves a lot of overhead activity. He's also a power lifter. These activities lead to a deep shoulder ache, and this is ongoing for 2 years, so we're in the chronic stage. Right. So I did a full shoulder exam. Everything was normal except 4 out of 5 strength with internal rotation on the left upper extremity. Pain was a 10 out of 10. Special tests were all negative. However, liftoff test was positive. Although the belly press test, testing for the same thing, tearing the subscapularis, belly press test was negative, liftoff was positive. And the rest of his physical examination basically showed me that he's having some issues with bed mobility and transfers. He can roll left and right, but he needs full assist to go from supine to sit. This is a classification of my system via the WHO ICF. Prognosis of my patient is decent, although he's at risk to rapidly decondition due to his morbid obesity. Goals, some interventions we tried. In green, you'll note the interventions for his shoulder. Some partial planks, 3 sets, 30 seconds each, which seemed to be fairly well tolerated, especially since the apple habitus, he wasn't actually putting maybe only 10% of his body weight through his humerus. So it was a fairly good exercise for someone with shoulder pain. He seemed to tolerate it very well. It didn't flare up his pain, and he enjoyed doing it. So my diagnostic question is the belly press test a reliable test for diagnosing a subscapularis tear in a morbidly obese 46-year-old male with